of a several-part series of biochemistry bites, which goes over Chapter 1, which is the basic themes in biochemistry and the organization of cells. Just to mention, these are some problem assignments that you can do for practice to help you learn and understand the material. So, there are different levels of structural organization in the body. This hierarchy reaches from simple to complex, where simple molecules such as water, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen lead to form more complex molecules and biomolecules such as carbohydrates, proteins, and nucleic acid. A collection of interacting molecules encased in a suitable membrane becomes a cell, and this is the basic unit of life. So cells contain the hereditary material DNA, which contains the information needed to complete the organism. There are certain functional groups that are common to biomolecules in organisms. They all contain carbon, and most contain electronegative oxygen and nitrogen. And so the polarity of these atoms are linked to their reactivity and function. Smaller molecules, or monomers, can be linked, usually via dehydration, to produce macromolecules or polymers that have directionality. Monomers and nucleotides can combine to polymerize and form nucleic acids. Monomers of amino acids can combine to polymerize to form polysaccharides, and monomers of sugars can polymerize to form polysaccharides. One thing to note is that nucleic acids and proteins are informational molecules, whereas polysaccharides are not. For proteins, there are 20 naturally occurring amino acids that can be incorporated into the sequence of proteins. And for nucleic acids, there are 5 different types of nucleotides that can be easily distinguished from one another. For proteins, the sequence of amino acids determines the properties and functions of the polypeptide formed. For example, you can have a fibrous or a globular structure, or you can have proteins that have different roles, such as structural, catalytic, or messenger roles. There is a well-established unique amino acid sequence that exists for each protein produced by cells. Likewise, the genetic code lies in the sequence of monomeric nucleotides that polymerize to form nucleic acids, which in turn determines the amino acid sequence in proteins. In polysaccharides, however, the order of monomers rarely has an important effect on the properties of the polymer, nor does the order of the monomer carry any genetic information. So, biological macromolecules and their building blocks have a sense or directionality even at the monomer level. For amino acids, there's a loss of water to form polymers. Amino acids build proteins by connecting the carboxyl group of one amino acid with the amino group of the next amino acid to form a polypeptide. One very important class of proteins are called enzymes, and they display catalytic activity, which means that they increase the rates of a chemical reaction compared to that of uncatalyzed reaction. One of the most important functions of proteins is catalysis, and the catalytic effectiveness of a given enzyme depends on its amino acids. And so the specific sequence of amino acids ultimately determines the properties of all types of proteins, including enzymes, and it contains the required information for appropriate folding of the protein into its 3-dimensional structure for activity. For polysaccharides, they are usually built by linking the first carbon of one sugar with the 4th carbon of the next sugar. And so this polymerization reaction is accompanied by the elimination of water to form a polysaccharide. For nucleic acids, a hydroxyl group on the 3' of the ribose ring of one nucleotide forms a bond to a hydroxyl group that is on the 5' ring of the ribose ring of a neighboring nucleotide, accompanied by the elimination of water to form nucleic acids. So just to summarize the importance of sequence, the sequence of amino acids in proteins is determined by the sequence of nucleotides and nucleic acids. DNA, or deoxyribonucleic acid, which is one of the nucleic acid, serves as coding material for cells. The genetic code is the relationship between the nucleotide sequence in nucleic acids and the amino acid sequence in proteins. And as a result of this relationship, the information for the structure and function of all living things is passed from one generation to the next. In present day, the genetic code is based on nucleic acids, and catalysis relies primarily on proteins.